This week in Jamaica Now, more on the Outameni controversy. Former Finance Minister Audley Shaw says he never knew about the DBJ's write-off decision under his government. The opposition is considering legal action against the government over the deal, and Dr Davidson Daway says the controversy was bound to happen because of reckless and arrogant board members. Cops convicted of controversial 2010 Manchester murder, and Jamaican jurist elected to International Court of Justice. The details of these and other stories coming up after the break.
There's a story behind my skin. My only makeup? True Match.
Only True Match has L'Oreal's technology to match your skin's unique tone and undertone. 100% guaranteed.
My skin, my story, my True Match.
From L'Oreal.
I'm Carleen Brown, and this is Jamaica Now. The ongoing Outameni controversy took a new twist last week when it was revealed that it was under the Jamaica Labour Party administration that the Development Bank of Jamaica made the decision to write off $76 million in preference share investments on Outameni attractions. The Outameni matter has been receiving intense scrutiny since it was revealed that the National Housing Trust spent $180 million to acquire the Trelawney-based property, which critics say is outside its mandate. The DBJ was involved because in 2005 it invested $500,000 in preference shares in Outameni. But the bank never received a single dividend payout up to 2011 when it decided to write off the investment. The actual write-off was eventually done in 2013. But it was never made public. Mr. Shaw has sought to explain why he didn't know about the write-off decision when he was finance minister, saying the DBJ was under the portfolio of Prime Minister Bruce Golding. And the Jamaica Labour Party JLP is considering whether to take the government and the board of the National Housing Trust NHT to court over the controversial Outameni purchase. According to the opposition leader Andrew Holness, there is a strong case against the government and the board of the NHT.
There is a strong case, yes, in terms of the fiduciary responsibility of the board and in terms of the breach of the act itself. I mean, it's clear that the government has had to come on two occasions to amend the law to allow them to do retroactively what they did. In this instance, they have not said they're coming with any amendment to allow the NHT to own and operate a tourist attraction.
Meanwhile, the opposition has also threatened to bring a censure motion if the Prime Minister does not come clean on the controversial deal. Last week, it tabled more questions for the Prime Minister to answer about the purchase. In the meantime, NHT board member Lambert Brown has rejected claims by former member Dr Davidson Daway that some board members had no say in the Outameni property purchase in 2012. Dr Daway has also accused some board members of being arrogant and reckless.
I believe that this was bound to happen, as far as I'm concerned, because of the recklessness of the whole situation at the board. When the Outameni thing came on, I didn't have much of an input in it because it came in the form of a report from the managing director at the time, and there was some dissent to the idea. However, it was decided that should return back to a committee that was responsible for it, for them to give more credence to it, or to vet it out, but for some reason, I never saw it again, really.
But Lambert Brown says in December 2012, when the purchase decision was made, a lawful quorum was present and it supported the decision. Dr Daway was among 4 board members who resigned in March, sending strong signals that all was not well at the NHT, which was set up to give Jamaicans affordable housing. And last week, trade unionists Cavan Gale and Helene Davis White resigned over the scandal engulfing the NHT and its decision to spend $180 million of its contributors' money to buy the Trelawney property. Also last week, 3 policemen were convicted for murder in 2 separate matters. In the first incident, former detective constables Tyrone Findlay and Constable Leonard Lindsay were found guilty in the Manchester Circuit Court of the 2010 shooting death of Alligator Pond resident Anthony Richards. They were also found guilty of shooting with intent in relation to another man who pretended to be dead after he too was shot. The man told the court that as he lay wounded on the beach, he felt someone putting a knife into his hand. And hours after that verdict in Manchester, Police Constable Jeffrey Peart and his sister Roxanne were convicted in the St. Anne Circuit Court for the 2012 murder of taxi operator Delroy Frame. Over the past 4 weeks, the court heard how the siblings lured the taxi driver to Bohemia, St. Anne, where he was shot and then beheaded. The cop planned the murder because the taxi driver had reported him to corruption investigators for soliciting and accepting money from him after they had a traffic accident. Popular fast food restaurant Island Grill says it hopes to resume operations at Sovereign Centre in St. Andrew in time for the Christmas season. Last Monday, sections of the restaurant were damaged by fire. An exhaust pipe was identified as the source of the blaze. There were no reports of injuries. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has hailed Jamaican jurist Patrick Lipton Robinson on his election to serve as a judge in the International Court of Justice. The Prime Minister says it is a historic moment for Jamaica and the entire Caribbean. According to Mrs. Simpson Miller, the overwhelming support that was received by Justice Robinson throughout the rounds of voting from the UN membership is a reflection of the excellence of the Jamaican candidate and the high regard with which the country is held in the international arena. Robinson is the only Jamaican and the second Caribbean national to serve on the International Court since its establishment 70 years ago. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Carleen Brown, and as we go, we bring you highlights from the ceremony to announce the 2015 Rhodes Scholar.
23-year-old Tariq Parker is the 2015 Jamaica Rhodes Scholar. The Governor-General, Sir Patrick Allen, made the announcement at King's House on Thursday, November 20.
It is my great pleasure to announce the 2015 Rhodes Scholar, who is none other than Tariq
Parker's first order of business was to inform his mother of the good news.
Yeah, they just announced the winner. I'm going to ask them. No, me. I have no reason to lie to you. I wouldn't lie. I am so thankful to everybody who has supported me along the way. They just announced the winner. I'm going to ask for it. I'm a Wilmerian, proud Wilmerian, from Wilma's preschool, preparatory school, high school. All my teachers, there are too many to name, but everybody was so supportive. And I thank God for all of the persons that were there for me throughout my life. My mom, my dad, my brother, my family, and my very close friends. Everybody was so supportive throughout this procedure, and it's been quite a journey. And I'm just so happy, you know, after I move on to do this master's in neuroscience at Oxford University. I would ultimately like to do a specialization in neurosurgery.
Why is that? Why did you choose neurosurgery?
I always found the brain very fascinating. I was always a very inquisitive person from a young age, and to me, the brain and the mind was always a source of constant intrigue. We didn't know enough about it when I read. And I just wanted to know more, and I always like to use my hands, so a surgical specialty made sense to me. So combining those for me, neurosurgery made the most sense.